Hello, Seiiti Arata. Lately, a lot has been said about mindfulness, but what exactly does that word mean? It is difficult to explain because trying to explain mindfulness is trying to describe a mental state, and a state of mind is too abstract to be explained in words. It has to be felt. A mental state is a psychological process, and the psychological process that most resembles mindfulness is the state of full presence. Mindfulness is when you're absolutely focused on what you're doing, focused at the present moment, without being distracted by thinking about the past or the future. Mindfulness is the exit from autopilot mode. Have you ever had the feeling of operating on autopilot? Wake up, drink coffee, go to school, work, have lunch, work again, go home, sleep, next day, start all over again. You do things just because. You're not sure why you're doing what you're doing. You have a way of being attentive and a way of being inattentive. Inattentive mode is just the autopilot. It does not mean that you're not aware of anything, you're just not consciously aware. Your mind generates random thoughts. Unfortunately, most people are in mental automatism. Thoughts arise automatically and we go through the days just reacting to events. And suddenly, when we realize much of life has passed and we had more suffering than necessary. Listen to the voices in your head to find out if you are inattentive. To find out if you're paying attention or not, listen to what there are conversations inside of your head. The conversation means that you are not in the present. These conversations mean that you are reliving something from the past, fantasizing about the future, or making some type of a judgment. If you are in the present, focused on what you're doing at the moment, there is no mental conversation. As human beings, we have this unique ability to get our minds out of the present and distracted by the past or the future. When you see your coworker sitting there apparently working, perhaps he's actually thinking about his vacation last month or wondering about the next vacation he will have. Whenever you find yourself having these conversations in your head, thinking of the past or the future, gently bring your attention back to the present moment. It is very likely that you will not be able to maintain your attention for long. However, with every little moment that you can be fully aware is worth it. Soon, your mind will be distracted again, and when you realize this, just gently bring your attention back to the present. You can think of it as a physical exercise. You know, when you start working out at the gym and you can barely lift a 5-kilo weight, you start like this. After a few sessions, you manage to lift 6 kilos, then 7. The evolution is not guaranteed and it's not definitive, because if you stop going to the gym for a long time, when you return, you try to pick up that weight, you have to go for something lighter. Developing the ability to maintain mindfulness is very similar. You start slowly, managing to keep your attention for a short period of time. Soon you will get distracted. Then you bring awareness back to your mind, and so you gradually strengthen your ability to maintain mindfulness. The important thing is that you don't want to lift 100 kilos weight in the first days of your gym. A lot of people find themselves completely unable to maintain awareness. But that is what people try to do, from being completely distracted to being fully aware overnight. This is not how it works. You need to gradually train your mind. And one of the best ways to do this is by using your breath. Breathing acts as an anchor to bring you back to the present moment. A well-known technique for bringing your mind to the present moment is to use something to focus your attention. It can be any object, an image, or anything else on which you can rest your focus. The most used anchor is our own breathing. Why? Because it's always here with us, wherever we go. So, in breathing exercises, we want to find something to watch, be the air entering our nostrils, then you blow it out. Some thoughts will appear. Whenever that happens, just bring your attention back to the present moment, to the air entering, leaving your nostrils, without judging. And when you engage your observer mode, the amount of thoughts decreases, and this is quite interesting and it is quite normal. It is like slowing down your autopilot. The philosophy of mindfulness also has to do with being here and now, body and mind. If I just put my attention in the hands of the autopilot, I fail to pay attention to what really matters. Life goes fast. When I'm on my way back home, I'm not even there. My body is here on the car, on the bus. My head is elsewhere. I have fantasies about what I'm gonna be doing. I have movies in my head about what happened in this imaginary world, which I'm daydreaming, not realizing what is actually happening. When we are focused on the present moment, we're hardly suffering. Our suffering comes from when we are clinging to a past that once was, or dreaming of a future full of conditions, which is unlikely to happen the way we imagine. So, to increase our levels of happiness, we need more awareness. We need to realize what does exist. Mindfulness is this ability to be aware of what our mind is, to be aware of what is happening here and now. When you are more attentive to the present, you begin to realize the huge amount of movements to which you are not attentive. You don't have to punish yourself for that. It is normal. It's good. It is a sign that you're raising your attention. You're realizing how your mind works. Distractions and judgments are the opposite of mindfulness. A good way to understand what mindfulness is to understand what it is not. Understanding its opposite, it might get more clear to understand the concept. Most of us behave in a distracted way, judging everything that happens around us. People in general don't just look at things the way they are. You can even see people making comments such as, "I can't believe he said that, how absurd. That person probably votes for whatever political party. Those voters are killing the country, blah blah blah." Mindfulness is the attention that arises from paying attention intentionally to the experience of the moment without judging, without evaluating. I'm aware of what happens. We're not saying that you need to stop thinking. That's not the point. What you want to do is simply to observe reality as it is, without constantly making judgments that in the end only bring suffering to your mind, only decrease your levels of happiness. Another way to understand mindfulness is that it is a state in which your attention is not distracted by something other than what is happening right now. If you were aware, your attention or mind would be on your family when you are with your family, at work when you are at work, and so on. What is amazing about mindfulness is that you are happier when you're conscious, even when what you're experiencing is a negative event, an unpleasant event. Just imagine your boss just yelled at you, or that you're involved in an accident. Even in these types of situations, you're likely to feel better if you are aware rather than being not aware. A survey by Matt Killingsworth showed that people are less happy when they are distracted, regardless of what they're doing. For example, people are not very fond of being stuck in traffic when they're commuting, right? And it can be sad, perhaps, one of the most unpleasant activities that we have, yet they are considerably happier when they're focused on their commuting rather than having their mind being away elsewhere. Maintaining mindfulness is a way to save your time. Do you think that you don't have time for anything? That you seem to spend all day busy without actually doing much at the end? So maintaining a state of mindfulness can be a way to save your time. A good deal of our time is wasted on rumination, and we are happier when our minds are not distracted thinking about the past or imagining the future. This means that we have a source of happiness within us. We just need to figure out how to not let our mind get distracted all the time. That is, discovering how to be attentive at all times. That's the key to happiness. Of course, I'm not suggesting that we should always be attentive all times and remain present 24/7. No, even monks who spend their life meditating and focusing on the present, they report that distractions continue to happen. Having the ability to be attentive is not the same as forcing yourself to be attentive all the time. Having the ability to regulate your emotions is not the same as forcing yourself to be happy all the time. Instead, having this ability means you have another tool in your happiness toolkit, the tool of mindfulness, and it can help you to improve your overall sense of well-being. We have less happiness whenever our mind is distracted, clinging to events that occurred in the past, or wondering about the future, how it would be better if some conditions were to happen. We're happier when we are fully aware of what we're doing at the present time, practicing mindfulness. So how do we develop this ability to be attentive? How to do specific exercises to increase our ability to focus? Now, I want to invite you to visit arata.se/happiness to continue exploring how to use mindfulness for a happier life, full of awareness.